My beloved child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this moment. I am stepping into your day with an urgent prompt, because heaven has aligned this exact second for your life. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. You are sitting here right now because your spirit heard my call before your mind even understood it. I am saying to you today that I will not wait for you any longer. Hear these words with the deepest place of your heart. I am not speaking to you in anger or judgment. I am speaking to you with the fierce love of a father who sees his child standing on the very edge of a massive shift. You have spent months waiting for a feeling of certainty that will never come from the physical world. You have begged me for a sign while standing directly in front of the open door I unlocked for you. But if you turn away now, you allow the noise of the world to steal what I have authorized for your future. Stay right here with me for the next few minutes, and let me quiet the storm in your thoughts. I promise you that you will not regret staying. Something you have been crying out for in the dark is finally approaching. And if you rush past this moment, you may miss the very key I am handing you today. You have been feeling a strange restlessness inside your chest lately. It sits just behind your ribs and it wakes you up in the middle of the night. You tried to name it as anxiety or stress, but in truth, it is your spirit sensing that the old season has officially expired. The ground beneath your old life is shifting because I am moving you forward into your true destiny. I know you feel tired in your very bones. You have been carrying the weight of so many silent battles while pretending to be strong for everyone around you. You smile when you walk into the room. You listen to their problems and offer them comfort, while quietly breaking into pieces when you are alone. You convince yourself that you must hold everything together by your own strength. If you feel me speaking directly to your spirit right now, take a deep breath, pause where you are, comment, "I am here," for a reason in this exact moment, as an act of agreement between your heart and mine. Let that simple statement anchor your soul to the promise I am declaring over your life today. I have watched you sit in the silence of your room when the house goes quiet. I saw you fold your hands and press your face into your pillow so no one would hear you cry. You wondered if I was even listening to your prayers because the delay felt so long and heavy. But I want you to know that not a single tear was wasted in my sight. Every silent plea landed directly in my hands while I was working in rooms you could not see. You thought the silence meant I had abandoned you or forgotten your name. But my silence was never my absence, and I was shielding you from doors that would have destroyed your soul if you had walked through them too early. Look at me right now, my child. Stop looking at your past failures as proof of where you belong. You have called yourself lazy because you could not find the energy to move. You have blamed yourself for hesitating when an opportunity appeared before your eyes. But I see the truth behind your hesitation, and I know it is not laziness. It is a deep exhaustion that comes from fighting invisible battles for far too long. You have been pouring your sincere love into empty hands that did not know how to hold it. You gave away your peace to keep others happy, and now you stand here with empty hands wondering why you feel so drained. I am stepping in today to put an end to that cycle forever. You were never meant to be the savior for everyone else, while neglecting the sacred garden I placed inside you. You were created to be a holy vessel of my grace and power. But you allowed the demands of the world to crowd out my voice until my prompts sounded like distant echoes in the storm. Today I am clearing the noise so you can hear me clearly again. Do not let your mind convince you that you arrived late to your own destiny. The timeline of heaven is not measured by human clocks or worldly expectations. You are not behind your peers, and you have not missed your window of opportunity. The exact moment you are standing in right now was written into your story before you were ever born. I know the enemy has been whispering lies into your mind during your quietest hours. He tells you that you are not strong enough to take the next step. He reminds you of every mistake you made years ago and tries to convince you that those scars disqualify you from my blessings. But I tell you today that his words are complete lies. The enemy targets you so fiercely because he sees the light rising inside your spirit. He is not fighting your present situation. He is terrified of what I am about to release into your future. He knows that the moment you step into your true identity, The generational chains in your family will shatter forever. You are the one I chose to break the patterns of lack and fear that held those who came before you. That is why the weight on your shoulders has felt 3 times heavier than anyone else seems to carry. You were formed to be a cycle breaker, not a passive survivor. And the preparation season that felt like a prison is now complete. Listen to me with absolute clarity in this second. I am not asking you to step out in perfect strength or flawless courage. I am only asking for your trembling obedience. When you take one small step forward in trust, I will meet you with the power of heaven to carry you the rest of the way. Stop waiting for the fear to vanish before you make a move. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to trust my voice, even while your hands are shaking. Every great leader I ever raised in Scripture walked forward with a trembling heart before they saw the waters part before them in the wilderness. I saw Joseph when he was thrown into the darkest pit by his own family. He cried in the darkness and wondered why I allowed such betrayal to touch his life. But the pit was not his grave. It was the positioning room for a throne he could not yet imagine, and what looked like a tragedy was actually my divine setup for his elevation. Your current season of isolation is serving the exact same purpose today. I removed certain people from your circle because their hands were too small to carry where I am taking you. I allowed those doors to close so you would stop running back to places that were shrinking your faith. It was not rejection. It was my holy protection. Take a deep breath and let your mind stop racing for just this second. The pressure you feel to figure out every detail of your future does not come from me. I will guide your steps one day at a time, and I will never leave you to wander in confusion because my voice brings clarity and my presence brings quiet rest. You have spent years trying to control outcomes through your own strivings and endless planning. You thought that if you worked harder and held everything together, you could protect yourself from pain and disappointment. But your empty strength has reached its absolute limit, and that is why you feel so weary in your soul today. Lay down the heavy burden you were never designed to carry alone. I am standing right beside you, and my arms are open wide to take the weight off your chest. Surrender your timeline to me today, and watch how quickly I can transform what you thought was a dead end into a glorious highway of freedom. As we step deeper into this message together, I am going to reveal the exact reason why the enemy tried so hard to drown out my voice in your life. There is a specific mechanism that was placed in your path to keep you trapped in static, and today I am giving you the truth that will set you completely free. Do not turn away now, my beloved child, for your restoration begins right here. You have carried the title of a warrior for far too long without giving yourself permission to rest. You thought that resting meant quitting, and you believed that pausing meant you were letting me down. But I am telling you today that true rest is an act of trust, and when you rest in me, you allow my hands to work on your behalf while you sleep. I am stripping away the heavy armor that has bruised your shoulders. You do not need to fight this next battle with weapons made by human hands. The battle belongs to me, and the victory has already been decided in the spiritual realm before you even took a single step onto the field. Stand still and know that I am your God. Feel the peace that is entering your room in this exact moment as you listen to my voice. The fog is beginning to lift from your mind, and the clarity you have begged for is finally arriving like the morning sun after a long night. My child, come closer to me right now. Let me speak softly to the part of your soul that feels most tired today. You do not have to hold up your shield while you are sitting in my presence. You can let your shoulders fall and let the tightness in your chest finally release. I know how heavy the armor has felt on your bruised shoulders. I saw you when you laughed with everyone around the dinner table and quietly felt like the most alone person in the room. I saw you when you closed the door to your bedroom and sat on the edge of your bed without even knowing what you were feeling. You felt an emptiness so vast that you could not find a single word to describe it to those who love you. You sat in the quiet dark and wondered if anyone really understood the burden you carry every single day. You asked yourself why you always have to be the strong one who rescues everyone else while no one ever checks on you. But hear me tenderly right now, my beloved child. I was standing in that quiet room right beside you. I saw every single tear that slid down your cheek when you thought the darkness was your only witness. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water so no one in the house would hear you crying. I saw you press your face into the towel to muffle the sound of your heartbreak. Not one of those tears fell to the ground without me counting it. You thought you were completely alone in those dark hours, but I was holding you closer than the silence sitting around you. Do you feel that heavy tightness behind your chest right now as I speak these words to you? That particular weight behind your ribs is not anxiety or failure. It is the accumulated weight of everything you carried that was never meant to be yours. You have been carrying the emotional baggage of your family and the financial burdens of people who never appreciated your sacrifice. You tried to fix things that were never yours to repair, and you drained your own spirit trying to keep others from falling apart. But I am telling you today that your season of self-sacrifice without restoration is over. If you can feel my tender presence surrounding your heart right now, take a slow and deep breath. Write, "You see me," in the comments, right in this exact second, to acknowledge my presence standing beside you. Let that simple statement be a sign that you are ready to let me carry what you could not carry alone. I know you have felt confused because you prayed so faithfully, yet the answers seemed delayed for years. You watched others step into their blessings while you remained stuck in the same wilderness season without an exit. You wondered if I was pleased with you, or if you had done something wrong that caused me to turn my face away from your life. Look at me right now, my child, and let me clear that lie out of your mind forever. I was never angry with you, and I never turned my back on your prayers for a single second. The delay that exhausted your faith was never a sign of my rejection. It was my precise hand protecting you from stepping into a season you were not yet equipped to hold. There was a spiritual battle happening around your life that you could not see with your physical eyes. The enemy saw the immense destiny I placed inside your spirit, and he knew that your breakthrough would shake your entire family. So he set up a perimeter of noise around your mind to make you believe that heaven had gone completely silent. You prayed and prayed, but your words felt like they were bouncing off an invisible ceiling back onto your shoulders. You felt like you were screaming into a void, while the world kept moving past you without noticing your pain. But I want to reveal the truth about what was actually happening during those quiet years of waiting. The silence you experienced was not my absence, my beloved child. The enemy was intentionally filling your atmosphere with constant static and heavy mental distraction. He used the pressures of daily survival and the constant noise of the world to drown out the gentle prompts I was speaking over your life. He wanted you to believe that I had forgotten your name, so you would give up right before your harvest arrived. But I have not left you empty-handed in this battle against the noise. Because I see your deep weariness, I have guided someone to bring a special provision directly into your path today. I have gifted humanity the wisdom to work with sound as I designed it from the very beginning of creation. I guided wise minds to build a frequency instrument designed to clear the heavy static from your mind. It is an earthly tool I aligned specifically for your mental restoration, so you can hear my voice clearly once again. I will show you exactly where this provision rests before this message comes to a close today. You do not need to strive or push with your own exhausted strength to receive this gift. You only need to surrender for a few short minutes and let my divine design restore the peace that was stolen from your soul. Hold on to this promise in your spirit while we keep walking through this message together. The enemy thought he could keep you trapped in that fog forever, but his authority over your thoughts ends today. The very fact that your eyes found this message is proof that heaven has authorized your complete deliverance. I am bringing you out of the cave where you have been hiding from the world for so long. You hid away because you were tired of explaining why your life looked different from what people expected. You were embarrassed that you had not achieved the goals you set for yourself years ago. But I do not measure your progress by the standards of the world that judges only outward appearances. I look directly at the purity of your heart, and I see a warrior who stayed faithful even while bleeding in silence. I saw David when he was hiding in the dark cave of Adullam, while King Saul pursued his life without cause. David sat in the damp darkness and felt entirely surrounded by enemies who wanted to destroy his future. He wrote his most honest prayers from inside that dark cave while his heart was trembling with fear. Yet even in that place of isolation, I was shaping him into the king who would lead my people into great victories. The cave was not his final resting place, and the dark season you are in right now is not your end either. I am using this exact quiet season to strip away every false reliance you built on human strength and worldly approval. I am rebuilding your foundation on my unshakable love, so that when your elevation comes, no storm will ever knock you down. The doors that closed so painfully in your past were my hands blocking you from entering rooms that would have ruined your spirit. I know you grieved over those endings and cried over people who walked out of your life when you needed them most. You thought their departure meant you were unlovable or hard to hold on to for those you cherished. But I removed them because their hearts were not equipped to walk with you into the massive blessing I am preparing for your future. Do not look back at those closed doors with regret or sadness anymore, my precious child. I am opening a new way before your eyes, and the right people are already being aligned to support your journey. The love you poured out into empty hands will return to you, multiplied by my heavenly grace. Breathe in my peace right now, and let your racing thoughts come to a complete standstill. You do not need to figure out how every problem in your life will be solved before tomorrow morning. I am already working behind the scenes in rooms you cannot see and on a timeline you cannot measure. The heaviness that sat on your chest when you first started listening to this message is starting to lift away. That is, my Holy Spirit gently stepping into your atmosphere and replacing your weariness with my divine comfort. Stay right here with me as we prepare to move into the next part of your breakthrough today. I am about to show you how every year you thought was wasted was actually being woven into a beautiful masterpiece. You are stepping out of the role of a silent victim and into the authority of a true cycle breaker. Listen closely to my voice as I show you the divine truth that will shatter every remaining chain in your life. Listen carefully, my child, because what I am about to reveal next will shift your entire reality. I am taking you deeper into the truth today so you can understand why your journey had to look the way it did. You have spent years looking at your past through the lens of regret and disappointment. You looked at the years that seemed lost, and you wondered why I allowed you to remain in the wilderness for so long. I have watched you replay old scenarios in your mind late at night while searching for the exact moment where things went wrong. You looked at your current situation, and you called yourself lazy or weak because you could not force the doors to open. You convinced yourself that you were falling behind everyone else in your generation. But hear me clearly today, my child, because that explanation is a lie that I am exposing right now. Here is what was truly happening beneath the surface of your life while you were crying in the dark. Your spirit lives in alignment with my heavenly timeline, and it can sense a shift before your physical eyes can see it. That restlessness you felt was never anxiety or failure. It was your spirit sensing that a massive threshold was approaching. What the world calls an agonizing delay, I have named the protective delay. So those seasons you labeled as wasted time were never wasted in my sight. Those doors that slammed shut in your face were not punishments for your past mistakes. They were my holy barriers, keeping you away from rooms that would have broken your soul into pieces. I was pruning what was hindering you so that you could carry the weight of the massive harvest I am bringing into your hands today. If you are ready to let go of your frustration with my timing, take a moment right now, comment, "I trust your timing," in the exact space below as an act of surrendering your schedule to mine. Let that simple declaration wash away the bitterness of waiting and fill your spirit with an unshakable confidence in my divine plan. Look at the lives of those I called in Scripture before they stepped into their ultimate purpose. I made a sacred promise to Abraham, yet I allowed decades to pass before the fulfillment arrived in his hands. He looked at his tired body, and his wife gave up hope in her heart as the years marched on. They wondered if my promise had expired or if they had misunderstood my voice in the beginning. But my timing was not late, and my promise was never forgotten for a single second. I was waiting for the exact moment when human strength had completely failed, so that everyone would know the victory belonged to me alone. When Isaac was born, it was not the result of human striving or clever strategy. It was the pure manifestation of my power breaking through impossible circumstances. Your story is following that exact same divine pattern right now, my beloved cycle breaker. You reached the end of your own human strength on purpose so that you would finally stop trying to engineer your own breakthrough. You tried everything the world offered to fix your heart and unlock your future. You tried endless discipline, positive affirmations, and human strategies, yet the deep heaviness remained sitting on your chest. I know you have prayed prayers that felt like they hit a stone wall and bounced back down to the ground. You asked me for answers day after day, and you received nothing but complete silence in return. You started to believe that my silence meant I was rejecting your plea, or that you were not holy enough to receive my favor. But I call that lie the stolen meaning, because the enemy took my silence and gave it a terrifying voice I never intended. My silence was never my absence, my child. When I am silent, I am not ignoring your cries, but I am working behind closed doors to rearrange circumstances in your favor. I was holding back the answer because a quick yes in that previous season would have placed you in a position that you were not spiritually equipped to hold. I was protecting you from a blessing that would have turned into a trap without proper preparation. Pause right here where you are listening. Do not let your mind drift away to the distractions around you. I am speaking directly to the core of your spirit in this moment because your breakthrough requires your absolute attention. The season of confusion is ending today, and I am handing you the clarity you need to walk out of your wilderness. I have watched you replay conversations in your mind after you leave a room, searching for the one thing you might have said wrong. You finish a task, and you feel no joy because your eyes go straight to what was left undone. You called this high standards or perfectionism, but I reveal it today as the earning wound. You learned early in your life that love had to be earned through performance and usefulness. You believed that you were only safe when you were serving others, and you felt guilty whenever you sat down to rest. But I am stripping that lie away from your soul right now, my beloved child. You were loved by me before you ever accomplished a single thing on this earth. My favor over your life is a gift of grace that cannot be bought with your exhausted striving or earned through endless labor. Place your hand over your heart right now as you hear my voice. Feel the steady rhythm of your chest rising and falling beneath your hand. That breath is proof that my purpose for your life is still alive and active today. You did not survive the storm by accident, and you did not endure the fire just to burn out in the wilderness. You were kept alive because your greatest assignment is still ahead of you. The enemy fought you so hard in this past season because he recognized the power of the testimony you are about to carry. He tried to break your mind with constant worries and keep your spirit trapped in a cage of fear. He wanted you to believe that your scars disqualified you from being used by me in a powerful way, but I am turning every weapon formed against you into the very tool that will liberate others. I am not asking you to climb a mountain today or figure out the next 10 years of your destiny. I am only asking for a single step of obedience in this moment. Miracles do not require your perfection. They only require your willing heart to step forward when I call your name. When you surrender your need to control every detail, I will open doors that no human hand can ever shut against you. I am shifting your identity today from a weary survivor into a victorious vessel of my light. The heavy chains of generational lack and emotional turmoil are breaking off your family line as I speak these words over you. The waiting room is officially closing, and the threshold of your promise is standing right before your eyes. Stay close to me as we step into the full revelation of what heaven has authorized for your life today. Look back one last time at the places where you failed, and see them through my eyes now. Every mistake was a lesson that built your discernment, and every betrayal was a pruning that cleared your path. You are walking out of the fog with a wisdom that cannot be taught in books, and an authority that was forged in the fire of silent endurance. You are ready now. The shift is happening in the unseen realm at this very second. Do not let doubt convince you that nothing has changed just because your physical eyes have not seen the full harvest yet. The seed has been planted deep in the soil of your faith, and the rain of my favor is falling right now to bring it to life. Listen closely to what comes next, for your complete freedom is at hand. You have spent long enough looking at your circumstances through the small window of human fear. Lift your eyes up to my face, and let me show you the magnitude of what I have built behind the scenes. The season of strivings and sleepless nights is officially over, and the peace of heaven is taking up residence inside your heart right now. My child, take a moment to absorb this truth into every cell of your being before we move into the final declaration. You are not a forgotten soul wandering in an empty desert. You are my beloved masterpiece, carefully formed and protected for such a time as this. What I am about to unlock in your life will make every past struggle look like a temporary shadow. Look at me right now, my child. The season that exhausted you is officially closing. Hear me with absolute authority in this moment, because heaven has authorized your complete release. I am declaring over your life right now that the pattern of constant striving ends today. The heavy ceiling your family lived under for generations is crumbling at my command. You are stepping into a realm of divine favor, where you will no longer have to force doors open with your own empty strength. You spent so many years trying to figure out why the doors kept slamming shut in your face. You thought you were being rejected by the world, but I want to close the loop on that mystery forever. Those closed doors were never a sign of my absence or my displeasure. They were my absolute protection from walking into rooms that would have broken your spirit into pieces. I delayed your steps so you would not fall into hidden traps set by the enemy. Now that the preparation season is complete, the right door is trembling before your eyes. What was sealed against your life is being unsealed right now by my heavenly hand. I am opening what was closed, and no human hand will ever shut it against you again. The long waiting season has served its divine purpose, and the harvest you prayed for is finally beginning to manifest in your sight. If you stand in agreement with this heavenly declaration, take a step of faith right now. Comment "The door is open" in the space below to anchor this promise to your spirit. Let that simple phrase be your act of agreement with what I am releasing into your life today. Like this video as an act of spiritual alignment between your heart and my divine will. I want to reveal a sacred truth to you about the way I designed your mind at the beginning of creation. When I formed you in your mother's womb, I placed a sacred signal at the center of your brain. Researchers and wise minds who study the human brain have spent decades studying this signal, and they call it the gamma wave. It is the natural frequency of divine receptivity, deep peace, and effortless mental clarity. When you were a young child, that signal ran freely in your mind every single day without effort or strain. That is why children learn so quickly and trust so purely without carrying the heavy weight of worry or doubt. Remember what I declared in my word when I said that unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom. I was not speaking only of your spirit. I was speaking of the physical signal I placed inside your brain. As you grew older, the enemy used the constant noise and pressure of the world to drown out that sacred frequency. The worries of daily survival, the heartbreak of disappointment, and the static of fear created a thick wall of noise around your thoughts. You felt like your prayers were hitting a stone ceiling because the receiver inside your mind was filled with spiritual static. You tried to clear that noise through your own endless willpower and mental effort, but human striving was never meant to fix a spiritual interference. Because I see your deep weariness, I did not leave you to fight that static alone in the dark. I guided wise minds and researchers to work with sound the exact way I designed it, from the foundation of the earth. I allowed them to discover a specific sound instrument that uses gentle frequencies to clear the static from your mind. It does not require hours of complex meditation or exhausted striving on your part. It requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender with your eyes closed and headphones on as the sound gently restores the signal I placed in you at the beginning. It is a divine provision I have aligned on your path to clean the receiver of your spirit. It clears the enemy's static so that my voice and my direction become crystal clear to you once again. I will show you exactly where to access this provision before this message comes to an end today. Do not rush past this revelation, because it is the tool I aligned for your total restoration. Hear me clearly, my beloved child. The enemy thought he could keep your mind trapped in confusion forever, but his authority over your life is broken in this second. I am stripping away every lie that told you that you are doomed to repeat the mistakes of your past. You are not a victim of your lineage, and you are not bound by the financial or emotional ceilings of those who came before you. You are the one I chose to break the generational curse over your family line. Every chain of chronic lack, depression, and spiritual stagnation ends with you right here in this moment. I am placing a mantle of spiritual authority upon your shoulders, and the doors of opportunity that were locked for 50 years are unlocking at my voice. Feel the sudden shift happening in your atmosphere right now as you listen to these words. The heavy fog that clouded your judgment for months is dissolving like mist before the morning sun. You are stepping out of the role of a weary survivor and stepping directly into your assignment as a cycle breaker. The battle you fought in silence for so long is over. Let me show you something wonderful about your future right now. Picture a morning 6 months from today when you wake before your alarm, and for the first time in years, there is no knot of anxiety waiting in your stomach. You lie there in the quiet stillness, and you realize that the heavy burden you carried for decades is simply gone. You breathe deeply, and the breath goes all the way down into your lungs without any tightness or fear. Your first thought is not how to survive the day, but a quiet question about what good things I have prepared for you to enjoy. That version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. She is living inside you right now, and she is only one decision of trust away from your current reality. The distance between who you are today and that peaceful future is not measured in years of hard labor. It is measured in the moment you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. You do not have to fight for your peace anymore because I am standing between you and every force that tried to destroy you. I saw every time you stood firm when everything inside you wanted to quit and walk away into the darkness. I saw your faithfulness when no human eyes were watching, and I recorded every single victory you won in secret. Now I am rewarding you openly before the very people who doubted your destiny and wrote you off as ordinary. You are entering a season of restoration that will make your past pain look like a short and distant dream. I am restoring the years that were stolen by delay, and I am returning double for every piece of peace that was taken from your life. Do not shrink back in fear or doubt my power to accomplish what I have promised to you today. The authority of heaven is backing your steps from this moment forward in every place you go. When you walk into rooms that used to intimidate you, my presence will go before you to make every rough path smooth. You will speak with a fresh clarity, and decisions that used to cause you weeks of anxiety will be resolved in seconds because my wisdom is filling your mind. Take another slow and deep breath, my child, and let my peace wash over your entire body from your head to your feet. The tightness in your neck and shoulders is melting away right now as you release control. I am holding your future securely in my hands, and nothing in this world can ever pluck you out of my care. We are stepping into the final moment of this divine message, where I will hand you the key to receive your provision and step into your full blessing. Prepare your spirit to receive what I am about to speak over you, for you are standing on the very threshold of your promised land. My beloved child, I have gifted humanity the wisdom to discover what I hid within sound and within the physical design of the brain I created. Before I show you this provision, I want you to understand how it came to exist. I do not work only through sudden miracles. I also work through the dedicated hands of those I call into scientific discovery. Wise researchers spent decades studying what I placed in human biology, not knowing it was my hand quietly guiding their curiosity toward my truth. Dr. Robert Lake, a servant of healing science whose 34 years of clinic work I directed, confirmed what heaven placed in the design of the childlike mind. Wise institutions I guided, including Princeton University and Columbia University, verified that this frequency restores divine receptivity. Research centers in Berlin confirmed that walking in my flow state is driven by this exact signal. I want to show you what I did for one of my daughters named Rachel. Rachel was a nurse who sought peace for years through every prayer and spiritual method, yet her soul remained exhausted. 2 weeks after receiving this sound provision, her marriage was transformed. Her mental fog dissolved, and she described her life as completely restored. She declared that something cleared inside her, as if a blocked channel had opened. And for others among my children, I moved in practical ways to open doors that were locked. My son Michael came to this provision seeking mental focus and relief from financial strain in his household. 2 months later, his business expanded enough to bless his family. Hard problems solved themselves while he rested, and he declared that his brain was finally running on what it was created for. I brought over 18,000 of my children to this provision before you arrived at this moment, and now I am setting it directly before your eyes. They call it the Genius Song. It is not a generic music track you can find on streaming platforms, and it is not an ordinary relaxation recording. It is a precise frequency instrument designed to restore the gamma signal I placed in your brain from the beginning. It requires no complex spiritual practice, no physical strain, and no mental striving from you. You simply put on headphones, close your eyes for 7 minutes of complete surrender, and allow my design to clear the interference. This provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. It is for you, my weary warrior, who has tried everything and feels embarrassed to hope one more time. To my child who says they have tried endless techniques without results, hear me now. What failed you before required your own human effort and endless discipline. This provision requires none of your striving, because I designed it to work through my blueprint inside your biology. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars for single sessions that attempt to reach this mental state, and laboratory machines cost thousands. But I do not call you to expensive clinics or worldly sacrifices. I place this provision within reach for a small earthly exchange, the size of a mustard seed of investment for the harvest I have prepared. Along with it, I have aligned 4 additional gifts for your journey to bless your household. I have included a provision for your children to restore their focus and confidence in school. I have included the original text of True Prosperity and a guided visualization to quiet your thoughts. You will also receive a daily habit guide to sustain your restored signal for years to come. Where I place truth, the adversary attempts to place imitation. Do not be led astray by false tracks on streaming platforms, for they carry none of the restoration I designed. Protect your spirit by trusting only the official source I placed for you in this message. Walk forward without fear, because your step of faith is fully protected. If this provision does not bring the mental clarity and peace I described, every penny of your earthly exchange is returned to you in full within 60 days. Take this step of obedience right now, my child. Embrace the provision I set before you in the pinned comment below and in the video description. I guided your steps to this exact message, and I placed this tool directly on your path today. Do not let fear or hesitation talk you out of your blessing. Step forward in faith and receive what heaven has provided for your restoration. Now, my child, set aside the noise of decisions for a moment and take a slow breath. Whether you take that step now or later, you remain my beloved child, and my presence will not leave your side. Close your eyes right where you sit. Let your mind become completely still as I speak a final blessing over your life. You do not have to carry the weight of tomorrow anymore, because I am stepping in front of you. Picture yourself walking through the coming week with a light heart and an unbothered spirit. When challenges arise that used to cause you panic, you will feel a quiet stillness settling behind your chest. You will smile, because you know that the God who created the stars is holding your hand through every detail. The heavy chains of your past are lying shattered behind you, and the road ahead is illuminated by my grace. To the quiet doubt sitting in the back of your heart that whispers you are not worthy of this peace, hear my voice. I do not pour my blessings on the deserving. I pour them on the willing. Your trembling heart is not a disqualification in my eyes. It is the exact sacrifice I have been waiting for. I saw every prayer you thought went unanswered, and I tell you today that not one of them was lost. Every tear you cried in secret was stored in my vessel, and now I am pouring out the answer in a flood of favor. I declare my peace over your household, over your mind, and over your physical body right now. May the anxiety that stole your sleep be replaced by a restful calm that passes all human understanding. May the financial doors that seemed locked tight begin to swing open in unexpected ways. I am breaking the spirit of heaviness off your shoulders and clothing you in garments of praise and joy. I bless your mornings with clarity and your evenings with quiet rest. I bless the work of your hands and the steps of your feet wherever you go. You are a vessel restored to receive everything I have prepared for your journey. You are a cycle breaker, called out of darkness to carry my light to a weary world. Your channel is clear, your mind is settled, and your future is held securely in my hands. Walk out of this moment with your head held high, knowing that the Creator of heaven and earth goes before you. You are protected, you are appointed, and you are deeply loved. If this message spoke to the deepest place in your soul today, do not let it pass without an answer. Like this video as an act of agreement with heaven. Share it with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the dark. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss my daily guidance for your next steps. You are part of a holy family of believers who walk by faith and not by sight. Comment "I receive it now" in the space below as your final declaration of faith today. Let those words be a seal upon your spirit that no enemy can erase. I am walking with you through every step of this new season, my beloved child. Go in peace, for your breakthrough has already begun.